Hello everyone. Today we will talk about pedigree analysis and about the disorders, that is genetic disorders. In the genetic disorders, there is a subheading in the NCERT book, and that is pedigree analysis. What is pedigree analysis? The pedigree analysis is actually a tool which is used to analyze the pattern of the inheritance, that how the traits or a particular trait is inherited from parents to their offspring and also in the successive generation, or you can say that how a particular trait is inherited, or you can say transfer in a family, that is from one generation to the next generation and successive generation. In the pedigree analysis, later on I will teach you about some of the symbols, and through the diagram you can predict that how the traits they run in a family, who may be the sufferer of that particular trait, of that particular disease. So we will discuss in detail in this heading. I have written here, pedigree analysis is the analysis of the traits in several generations of a family. The inheritance of the particular trait is represented in the form of family tree over generation. Actually, in the pedigree analysis, we make a family tree. Some of the symbols I will teach you. By making all these symbols, by making the diagrams, you will get to know that how a particular trait is running in the family, how a particular disorder, the disease like hemophilia, color blindness, phenylketonuria, alkaptonuria, thalassemia, so many genetic disorders are there, and through the pedigree diagram, through the pedigree analysis, by making all these diagrams, we are able to know that how the trait is running in the family, when it will appear, who will be the sufferer, whether it will be the male or the female. I will explain in this heading. So, a family tree, a diagram is mandatory to make and to analyze the pattern of the inheritance. Before explaining all the symbols, first of all, let me to explain what are the importance of the pedigree analysis. So many points I have written here. The pedigree analysis helps to know the possibility of the recessive trait. As you know, so many disorders are there like hemophilia, color blindness, sickle cell anemia, thalassemia. All these traits are recessive traits. And the recessive traits means actually the disorders are of two types. It may be the dominant trait or may be the recessive trait. The recessive trait, if a particular disease is caused by any recessive allele, it will appear only in the case of homozygous condition. If a gene is normal, suppose here a particular allele is there, A and A. and this AA, both are the dominant gene, both alleles are dominant, capital A, and by chance suppose there is a mutation in this capital A, and this capital A is going to be changed into the small a, and this small a is the cause of any disease, disorder, but one gene is supposed is the normal gene, means this small gene, because of the mutation, is now responsible for the causing of a particular disease. This gene has been mutated, but one gene is still normal. So in the heterozygous condition, in this condition, the disease will be not appear in the organism. Why it is not going to be appear? Because the trait is in the which form? In the recessive form. And one dominant, this one is the dominant allele, this is the normal, and this normal allele can suppress the defective recessive allele, and that's why the person, or you can say the individual, will not have any type of problem. But if the condition, if such type of condition comes into any individual, both it becomes a small aa, and both the alleles, they are defective, then definitely the disease will appear. It means overall you can say that the recessive allele expresses in homozygous condition only, not in the heterozygous condition. So many disorders are there, like hemophilia, color blindness, sickle cell anemia, thalassemia. Their genes, they are present in the recessive form. But if any individual is suffering from the disorder, it may be that the recessive alleles, they come into the homozygous condition. Sometimes they are in the hidden condition, they are not going to be expressed. Maybe the parents, they are looking normal, both male and female, father and mother, they are normal, but their children may have the disease. Why? In the parents, the gene may be in the recessive form. The child or the offspring is getting one defective gene from father and one from mother, again the child may have the problem. Through the diagram I will explain later on. But the recessive allele and dominant alleles, their appearance depends upon whether they are in the homozygous state or in the heterozygous state. So through the pedigree analysis, we will get to know the possibility of the recessive trait, that whether it will appear into the offspring or not, when it will appear, when it will not appear, we will get to know. Second, to know the origin of the trait. Suppose any trait, or trait means the disease, is running in the family. Through the pedigree analysis, through the diagram, through the pedigree chart, we will get to know that from where the trait has been originated. If you will make the diagram, the diagrams, the two diagrams already given in the NCERT book, you can see, I will also make here. But by making the diagrams, we will get to know that from where that particular trait has been originated, from where it comes. Maybe your grandfather may have the problem, your father, they are normal, your mother, she is normal, but the child may have. It means the trait almost running in the family. So we will get to know that from where the trait has been originated. The third, To know the trait is dominant or recessive. Through the pedigree diagram, through the pedigree analysis, we will also get to know that whether the trait is dominant or recessive. It will be dominant, most of the offspring, they will be the sufferer. If it will be the recessive trait, some of the individuals, they will have the problem and the condition, as I told you, when the both alleles, they are in the homozygous state. To know the usefulness or harm in between the close relatives' marriages. To know the pattern of the inheritance by making the pedigree analysis, we will also get to know that what will be the usefulness or what will be the harm if the marriages occur in between the close relatives. If they are very close and if the close relatives, they are going to be married, what will be the result, whether it will be useful for the forthcoming generation or it will be harmful. Through the pedigree analysis, we will get to know. And the last one, it helps in genetic counseling and also for the research work. Genetic counseling in some of the medical center, you can see some of the genetic counselor, they are appointed, and the genetic counselor, their work is to know about the family history. Suppose in a family someone is suffering from any genetic disorder, if you are going to the genetic counselor, to the doctor, he will make a family tree. He will ask some of the questions to you. He will make a pedigree, your grandfather, father, your brother, sister, like this, a complete flow chart, the diagrams, the genetic counselor will prepare, and through the diagram, he will come at the conclusion that from where that particular disease comes and what is the chance to inherit, to transfer the disease into the forthcoming generation, into the next generation. So, the genetic counselor, suppose the father is the sufferer of hemophilia and mother, she is the carrier, or suppose the father is normal and mother, she is carrier of the hemophilia. The genetic counselor and you also, being a biology teacher, you can make a pedigree and you can suggest to the couple that what is the chance, or you can say what are the probability of the spread of the disease, or you can say the inheritance of the disease into their offspring, into their son or daughter, and you can suggest them whether they are able to produce the offspring or not, whether they will produce the offspring or not, and accordingly they can plant. So the genetic counselor, they prepare the pedigree chart, and this pedigree analysis is very, very helpful, especially for the genetic counselor, and this is also useful into the field of research work to know the probability to frequency of the spread of the disorders into the family. So these all are the importance, or you can say the role of pedigree analysis. To make the pedigree flow chart or the diagrams, Some of the symbols have been given in your NCERT book. I have also drawn here. And with the help of all the symbols, you can make the pedigree chart. So, the first one, this is the symbol for the male. I have written here symbols for pedigree analysis. If you are going to make the pedigree chart, actually this is the symbol for male. This round shape, this square is for male. This round shape for the female, it indicates female. This structure indicates sex unspecified. If the sex is unspecified and you don't know whether the sex is male either female, this is the symbol for the sex which is unspecified. And all these three, they are the affected individuals. Suppose I have drawn here the diagram like this and this. It indicates this is the male affected male, and this one is the normal female. So this is for the affected male, this one is for the affected female. Affected means having the disorder, have the disease. This is also for affected individual in which the sex is unspecified. What is this? This is the male and this one is the female. As you know, this square is for the male, this is for the female, and here the male and female, it indicates this line that the process of mating. Here the male is going to be getting married with the female, and this indicates the process of mating, or you can say the marriages between the male and female. Mating between the close relatives, if they are very close to each other and mating takes place in the male and female and they are very close to each other, the double lines are made. This one from here up to here, the parents above, suppose the male, this one is the male, female, both they are marriages between each other, and both they are the offspring, the children. So the parents are above and children are below. This is the daughter, son, or you can say the female and male. So the parents are above and their offspring, the first generation offspring, the female and the male are below. This is also the parents are above, male and female, mating takes place and they produce the offspring, the son which is affected. So here I have written parents with male child affected with the disease, means all this darkened, which I have darkened here, it shows the disorder, affected child. And the last one, the 5, it has been written, if at one time you wish to give the symbol 5 unaffected offspring. 5 I have written, it is for 5 unaffected offspring. So these are the symbols which are used to know that how the symbols are used to make the pedigree chart. Pedigree, I am going to make here a very simple pedigree. You can see. Male, female, their offspring this is the parents. You can write here first generation. This is about the second generation. This is for third generation. Male. This is female. And you can see here the male and female both they are normal, means they are non-affected. Actually, in this diagram, I have shown that the pattern of the inheritance of the recessive trait, that how a recessive trait is inherited in a family. This whole diagram is a family tree, the pedigree diagram, and through this pedigree analysis, through this pedigree, you can say the tree, you will get to know that how a particular trait is running in the family. And actually this is the trait, the recessive trait. Why in this diagram it is the recessive trait? Because the parents, they are looking normal. They don't have any type of the symptoms. They are spending their life normal, but they have the gene, and the gene they are in the recessive form. You can't say that if the child is having the problem, if in a family, if any child is having the problem, maybe the sickle cell anemia or hemophilia or maybe the color blind, and their parents, they may be normal. They will not have, they are not affected at all. But they may have the gene, and the genes they are in the recessive form, and because the genes they are in the recessive form in their parents, the traits are not visible in the parents, but they are the carrier of that particular trait. They can transfer that particular disease to their offspring, to their son, either daughter. So in this diagram you can see here the parents, they are looking normal. This is father, mother, male, female. But when you will analyze the second generation, that what kind of the children they have, you can see here they are both sons. This is the first son, second son, and the third one is the daughter, fourth one is also daughter. The first is what? Normal son. This is also normal son, no problem. One daughter, she is also normal, but one daughter, you can say, I have darkened this circle. It means the daughter is what? Affected. It means the daughter is getting the gene from father and from mother both. How you can say that the father and mother both they are contributing the genes to this daughter? For example, suppose the male, the genotype of the male is capital A, small a. Here also the mother has the gene capital A, small a. As I told you, for example, the A is suppose the normal gene and this A is the defective gene. A is the normal gene and small a is the defective gene. Because of the normal A, this defective A, small a, is not able to express the trait in the parents. So the parents, they are normal. If this daughter or this, you can say the girl age affected, what will be the genotype? The genotype will be like this. This is the genotype. So the small a, one small a, C is receiving from the father, and one small a, C is receiving from the mother, and that's why C is what? Affected. Now, if anybody is asking that what will be the genotype of this son, it may be like this or like this. The condition is applicable for here also, and here also. The gene is like this. But here both the alleles, they are recessive and both they are present in the homozygous state. It means now to see the condition of the daughter, you can identify that about the genotypes of the father and mother. Means if the daughter is affected, definitely 10% the genotype is small aa, and on this basis if their parents, they are normal, means they are in the heterozygous condition. Again you can see here the third daughter of the parents, again she is going to be married with a normal male. The marriage is between, this indicates the marriage of this third child. She get married with the normal male. Again you can see in the third generation, the two daughters, they are looking normal, but one child, again it is getting what? Affected son. Again the genotype of this affected male child is small aa, and you can predict, here the genotype is, the genotype of this third daughter is capital A, small a, and here 10% it is small a, capital A and small a, and that's why this condition comes into the third generation. So overall, by making this pedigree diagram, you will get to know that how the traits, how a particular trait is running in the family, and you can also write the genotypes of the parents, of the son, of the daughter, as well as the affected individual. As I told you, if the child is affected, the female child is affected here, on this basis, now you can write the genotype of the father and mother. Here also in the third generation, if the affected child is there, on this basis, I have written here the genotype of this male and female offspring, parent. Here also, because they are unaffected, so the condition may be, both the alleles, they may be dominant or they are in the heterozygous form. So overall, whenever you will come back, so many questions I will give to you, and accordingly you will get to know that through the different diagrams, that how the traits they are running in the family. So that's all about the pedigree analysis. Now, after the pedigree analysis, there is a there are two disorders in your NCERT book, and these are Mendelian disorders and chromosomal disorders. I will teach you Mendelian disorders and chromosomal disorders tomorrow. I will start in the Mendelian disorders also. You have to study about the hemophilia, color blindness, sickle cell anemia, thalassemia. Then you have to study about chromosomal disorders. These are Down syndrome, Klinefelter syndromes, etc. But before the disorders, Mendelian and chromosomal disorders, what are the differences? It's very, very important. Sometimes there may be the question that write the differences between Mendelian and chromosomal disorders. So today I will discuss one more topic, that is differences between Mendelian and chromosomal disorders. The Mendelian disorders are the disorders which are caused due to the change in the gene. There is a change in the gene, and the chromosomal disorders are the disorders which are due to the chromosomal abnormalities. In the Mendelian disorders, because of the change in a particular gene, the disorders are created, like hemophilia, color blindness, sickle cell anemia, thalassemia. All these are the examples of Mendelian disorders, because the mutation, or you can say the change, occur in a particular gene and the disease is created, the disease is caused. But the chromosomal disorders is due to the change in the number of the chromosomes, whether yesterday I taught you 1 or 2 chromosomes, they are going to be added into the basic sets of the chromosome, or 1 or 2 may be deleted. The aneuploidy we have already discussed, and polyploidy, both are included into the chromosomal disorders. Second difference, the Mendelian disorders, they follow the pattern of the Mendelian pattern of the inheritance. We have already studied pattern of the inheritance, law of dominance, segregation, independent assortment, that how the traits they are inherited from one generation to the next and successive generation as per Mendel's law. So all the Mendelian, why it is said to be the Mendelian disorders? All the Mendelian disorders, they follow the Mendelian pattern of the inheritance. For example, hemophilia, sickle cell anemia, thalassemia, these are the examples of Mendelian disorders, and all these disorders, they follow the pattern of the inheritance which are given by the Mendels. I will explain tomorrow through the diagram that how they are going to be transferred from one generation to the next. Today also I discussed it follows the Mendelian pattern of the inheritance. But the chromosomal disorders like Klinefelter syndromes, Down syndromes, and Turner syndromes, they do not follow the chromosomal disorders, they do not follow the Mendelian pattern of the inheritance. Third, the Mendelian disorders, they are studied well through the pedigree analysis. Through the pedigree analysis, through the pedigree diagrams, we can know about the pattern of the inheritance of a particular trait, that from where the trait has been originated, how the trait will be transmitted from one generation to the next generation. It means we will get to know through the pedigree analysis. But the chromosomal disorders, we can't study the chromosomal disorders through the pedigree analysis. The pedigree analysis is not applicable for the chromosomal disorders. You can't make the pedigree, this family tree, for Down syndrome, Klinefelter syndrome, Turner syndrome. You can't make. Now there is a question that how you will get to know that someone is suffering from the chromosomal disorders. There is a technique, that is amniocentesis. In amniocentesis, in class 10th, you have already studied that the amniotic fluid is taken from the fetus when the fetus is in the mother's uterus, and that amniotic fluid is studied, and this is called amniocentesis. And through the amniocentesis, we get to know that about the abnormalities in the fetus. There is a separate heading about amniocentesis. You will study later on. So overall, Mendelian disorders are studied by pedigree analysis, while chromosomal disorders, they are studied by the amniocentesis. The Mendelian disorders are caused by the process of mutation, like hemophilia, either color blindness, or sickle cell anemia. So many disorders, whether it is recessive or dominant, they may be occur due to the mutation. But the chromosomal disorders, as we have already discussed, occur due to the non-disjunction. Yesterday I discussed about aneuploidy, when the chromosomes fail to segregate properly, that is non-disjunction during the gamete formation, or due to the polyploidy, the cytokinesis doesn't occur after the telophase condition. So overall, you can say that Mendelian disorders are generally caused by the mutation, and chromosomal disorders, they are caused due to the non-disjunction. So I request you all to make a table also and write the differences between Mendelian and chromosomal disorders. So today I taught you about pedigree analysis, the importance of pedigree analysis, the differences between Mendelian and chromosomal disorders. Tomorrow I will start Mendelian disorders and all the disorders which are given in your NCERT we will discuss in detail. So that's all for today. Thanks to everyone.